Hello, everyone. I'm Dijon,
And I'm Aiara.
and welcome to the Mustardcast, the podcast about the art of storytelling and how it's used across different mediums. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see our channel grow, and to click the notification bell so that you're notified when we post. As usual, we'll start with media consuming. You can start, Aiara.
All right. So in the time between this podcast and the last, I've actually done a lot of things. I watched Saltburn, have a lot of feelings about that. Truly the movie of all time. Started watching The Bear, which I'm really, really enjoying. I've been like on and off watching American Horror Story, mostly with my mom, because like she'll put it on the TV and then I'll come and I'll like peek at it. Been playing Persona 3 Reload, but we'll get into that when we get into that because that's gonna be like a whole thing. And that's about it. Yeah. Oh, and I got a new DS, so now I'm just playing all my old 3DS games and doing crazy stuff to it. It's really fun.
Yeah, I need to finish The Bear. I recently realized that I also never finished Atlanta, the last season.
Hmm.
So, and both of those are on Hulu. So I need to finish those up since I finished a couple other shows recently, especially before what is it? Some shows are about to start airing. I can't remember which, but something's about to start airing. I think like the Bad Batch is about to start airing or something on Disney Plus. So yeah, some shows
Mm,
about to come out. I got to finish that before that happens. I just fell behind on that one.
I get you. I get you.
But for me, I forgot to mention it last time. There are two things I forgot to mention. The first thing was that I got a PS3 off eBay. It was a
Nice.
struggle to get the PS3 and also some of the games. Um, Yeah, it was a hard fought battle. I was so close to getting a PS3 for $30. Ooh, I was so close. But somebody at the last minute outbid me by $1. I was so upset. So,
It's literally the worst.
so what happened was one that had previously been sold ended up back on the market because I guess they weren't able to actually sell it. So I was like, oh, let me
Hmm.
hop on this bid. And then I learned how bidding works, which is like you can have a max bid. Because I was wondering why whenever I was bidding, this person kept automatically bidding above me by $1. I was like, what's happening? I was like, because he has his max bid higher than what I'm bidding. So I put my max bid at a price I was comfortable with, but it never got. I think I put it at like 120 because I got to a point where I realized, okay, I'm gonna have to pay at least $100 for a PS3, and that's still relatively cheap for a console, even though it's old. So I'm gonna do it,
Yeah.
and I think I got it for 103 before tax. So it was a nice price. I put my max at 120 because that was what I was comfortable paying for it, and also that would deter a lot of people from buying it.
Right.
If it got above that, I might have pushed to 130, but I don't think I would have went further than that. I was trying to avoid 200 range. Um,
I get you.
but yeah, I got it. And the first two games I got were God of War 1 and 2 remastered for the PS3 because they were originally released on PS2.
Hmm.
I got a then I got another God of War game, God of War Ascension, which was the fifth God of War game, the God of War game right before the 2018 game. I believe it came
Hmm.
out 2012 or 2013, so like at the very end of the PS3 life cycle.
Hmm.
And it's also I think a prequel to all the other games. And then I don't remember in order I got the rest of it, but I also got Army of 240th Day, which is a game I played a lot with my brothers growing up. And when my youngest brother comes back into town, I'm gonna play it with him because I don't think I've ever played it with him because he was too young.
Hmm.
I got Infamous 1 and 2. I've never played the first two Infamous games. I played Second Son on PS4, but I never played the first two,
No.
so I'm gonna play those. I got Batman Arkham Origins because that's not available anywhere except PS3 and Xbox 360. It's not even backwards
Oh wow.
compatible on Xbox, which like every Xbox game,
Really?
starting from the very first Xbox, is backwards compatible on like the latest Xboxes. So it's weird that it's not. It's one of the very few games that you just can't play on Xbox. So I got it for PS3. I got Resistance 3. I played the first two with my brothers, and I never played the third one. So probably finally gonna check that out. Um, I got what is it? 140K Space Marine, which is their
Ooh.
like hack and slash game, which is really cool. And the second one's coming out. I think actually I don't even know if it has a date, but it might be coming out later this year. Um, uh, there's definitely some other stuff I can't remember. But one of the things that I ordered and was supposed to have come in, but it got mixed up. I talked to you about it a little bit. They had sent me a Wii game by mistake. And actually, yesterday
Oh.
before I went to work, I stopped by the postal office to send it back out to them. Even though they gave me a full refund and did not, they said it's okay, you can keep the game. And I was like, no, I'm gonna give it back to you. I don't want this game. And I want you to be able to resell it, especially since they were being so nice and respectful about it. I was like, thank you. I'll just give it back to you. But I found another one,
Right.
and I'm ordering it. It's the two PSP God of War games, Chains of
Ooh.
Olympus, and I forget the name of the other one that's coming in by next Monday. Today's February 6th that we're recording. Um, yeah, there's definitely some other ones I just can't remember right now that I got. But games that are on my list that I'm not in a rush to get is the Killzone trilogy, um, the Prince of Persia trilogy, and
Hmm.
the Godfather 2 video game,
Mm.
which is a game I played a lot on PS3 when I was a kid, and it was really fun. Uh, but
It
but yeah,
reminds me of the Transformers DS game that is it's awful. It's so bad, but I have so many fond memories of it because it was one of the first games I ever played on my own.
yeah, I now have a very expansive PS3 collection. I'm happy about that because a long time ago I sold a bunch of PS3 games just to buy one game, and it was the
Mm.
Deadpool game, which I also might end up getting on PS3. Because really enough, the Deadpool game was actually released on PS4 and Xbox One, but
Oh wow.
something with the rights happened that the publisher lost the rights, so it actually is
Mm.
it's unlisted in the digital store, but of course the physical copies still exist. But because it doesn't exist in the digital store anymore, and the only way to play is physical copies, the physical copies, the PS4 version specifically, are marked up like a lot. Like they're still like full price, like $60, which is weird.
That is really weird.
So I'm probably gonna get a PS3 so I can get it for cheaper. But yeah, moving on from that,
Yeah.
I finished. I don't know if I talked about it last time. That I finished Metal Gear.
You
Um,
didn't.
yeah, I finished up Metal Gear. I think at that time I don't think I had finished it, but yeah, I finished up Metal Gear. I wanted to finish up before the remaster of Last of Us Part Two came out. But then when I discovered that the creative director is most likely I almost called him by the name of one of the Last of Us fictional versions of the of that are meant to kind of represent Israel rather than
Mm-mm.
an actual why am I forgetting the term?
Zionist.
Zionist, exactly. And I was like, you know what? I don't feel comfortable buying that anymore. So
That's real.
and they also teased the third game, and it's like I'm not gonna play that unless he comes out in support of Palestine. I'm done with him for now, or he leaves the company, um,
Right.
which isn't unlikely. He might want to leave and do his own thing, and I'd be happy. Um, but yeah, I finished it. I was trying to finish it before that, but then I gave up because of that. So I just played it at my own pace and finished it. And it was great. It was fantastic. I knew when I was like I said, I've watched dozens of people like play through the game on YouTube before I ever played it. So I knew what was going to happen, but that didn't stop it from being fun. How has your
Right.
Metal Gear journey been going? Have you made any progress?
Still stuck. Nope. Still stuck in the same room. I think what I'm gonna do is because I'm playing on normal difficulty right now, I think I'm gonna give up the ghost and switch to easy and play that way. I didn't want to have to do it, but I think I might have to, and I think I might have a better time if I do that.
Yeah, you
And
might.
then also, I haven't really had time to like chip away at it because Persona 3 Reload.
Yeah,
So,
we'll definitely talk about that. But yeah, I love Metal Gear Solid. It's so good. It was a great game. My rankings of the games as of now go four because it was the first one I played. I have the most nostalgia for it, and it's great. And I'm still in the middle of my replay. I stopped so I could finish up. There's a mission in Metal Gear Solid 4 that is a callback to the first game that I didn't want to get to that mission before I finished the first game so that it hits harder. Because that's the thing about
right,
the
makes
game.
sense.
Everything about that game is hitting harder now that I finally played all the other games. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I'm gonna finish that probably sometime like later this year because there are a bunch of other games coming out.
Mhm.
But yeah, I've finally finished watching 007 Goldfinger, and then the
Oh,
next
wow.
day I watched the fourth movie, Thunderball. So I had started watching Goldfinger, got like I don't know 30 minutes in, and then I guess I was just tired that day, fell asleep, and then never went back to finish it up. So I decided
Mm.
to finally finish it. I watched it once again, fell asleep, but at an earlier timestamp. But then I woke up like 4 o'clock that morning and finished watching it.
Oh,
Yeah, Goldfinger was great. It has a great theme song that I feel like so far, um, the score was the best in Goldfinger because they incorporate Bond movies have theme song
right,
like
right, right.
famous singers of the time, and the Goldfinger theme is good, and it's kind of like motifs of it are played throughout the score of the entire movie, And even
Hmm.
and I thought that was gonna be a regular thing in all the movies, but they didn't even as I didn't notice they didn't do it in Thunderball, and I thought it was weird. They were just doing the usual James Bond score and theme, and I like that Goldfinger was different, that it actually used the the title song in its score. And Thunderball was
Right.
incredible because this movie was made in 1965, and like it's like a 2 hour movie, and like 30 minutes of the movie is underwater. It's
Hmm.
ridiculous in 1965 how they
That
were
is
able to have these incredible super long underwater shots. The last like 15 minutes of the movie almost takes place entirely underwater. It's insane. It's
that sounds
it's
insane.
truly incredible filmmaking. I'm happy to be going through these films. It's real fun so far. You know, it's old, and I think I talked to you about this. I think like off the podcast, but like he just be straight up sexually assaulting people, women specifically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like sometimes with old movies, you got to be like, ah, that's weird,
Yikes.
and kind of just like pretend it never happened because
Right.
it's just there's no
It's too late for outrage.
yeah,
So
it's far too late, and he's passed away. Well, and he was also playing a character, so I don't think there's
yeah.
been any allegations about the actor. As far as I know, maybe I'm wrong, but yeah. Uh, let's see, Tron Uprising. I also forgot to talk about that last time. I meant to talk about that because I've been rewatching it. I never finished it back when it was airing on Disney XD, and I started a
Mhm.
rewatch like early pandemic, like when Disney Plus first came. But here's a weird thing about it: they didn't have the first episode back when they first added it to Disney Plus.
That's
But
weird.
when I started rewatching it, now they have the first episode. I don't know why they didn't have it before, but yeah, I've been watching like an episode a day. It's been a couple days since I watched it though, but I want to make sure I stay on top of it so I don't like it doesn't go the way of like the bear in Atlanta, where I just
Right.
drop it because I forget about it, and then I remember, oh yeah, I need to finish that show. And it's also weird with both Bear and Atlantis that they're both, well, Atlanta it varies, but it kind of varies a little bit with the Bear. But for the most part, they're 30-minute episodes, so it's like I have no excuse
Right.
because the episodes are short. And I think
Yeah.
what I'm gonna start doing is what I'm doing with Tron Uprising, which is like try to watch an episode a day or something like that, or even at least
Hmm.
one a week.
Makes
Um,
sense. Makes sense.
but yeah, the art style for Tron Uprising is really good. Have you ever seen Tron Uprising?
I've heard of it vaguely, but I'm gonna look it
Yeah,
up
so
to refresh my
the
memory.
lead character designer is Robert Valley, who has a very distinct style,
Ooh.
and I always made the assumption, and I figured I was right, but now it's been confirmed because I waited till I got to the end of the episode and read the credits. I'm like, okay, who's the like creative director? Because I bet they're the same person who worked on these two episodes of Love, Death, and Robots. One called Zima Blue from the first season, I think Ice, which was in the third season. And when I first saw
Mm.
those episodes, I was like, man, that art style looks very familiar. It kind of looks like Tron. And then as I'm finally watching Tron again, I went to the credits, saw his name, then looked up those episodes, and yep, he was the creative director for those episodes as well. So the cast is ridiculously star studded. Like
Really?
they have the actor playing Tron himself is the actor from the original Tron movie. Um,
Wait, that's the guy's name? The guy's name is Tron. I've never seen any of the Tron
Yo, you don't know
movies,
anything about
so
Tron? Yeah, Tron. Well, the main character in this, well, technically, okay, the show is about
uh,
the main character is voiced by Elijah Wood.
right.
His name is Beck, which is ridiculous that I didn't even know Elijah Wood did voice acting. Beck is essentially taking up the mantle of Tron because
Right.
Tron was injured and can't fight. He can't fight
Okay.
for long. So yeah, Tron is the name of an actual character in the world.
That's that's so silly.
Yeah, and yeah, it's good. Wizard and Wizard. The main villain is voiced by Lance Henriksen. It's just like there's a lot of other great voice actors in it as well. That or is it speaking of Lance Reddick, who passed away not too long ago.
Hmm.
You probably know him from he's one of the cops in The Wire, and he's done a lot of voice acting.
Yeah.
He voices the main dragon in Vox Machina season 2.
Right, 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 right.
Who he's actually being replaced with ooh, his name is on the tip of my tongue. I always forget his name. He voiced the like witch doctor in Princess and the Frog. I can't remember his name right now. But
Oh, me neither, but I know who you're talking
yeah, they have very similar voices, so it makes sense that he'll do a good job. He also, well, actually, that would be a spoiler. Never mind, I'm not gonna say that. I was gonna name
about.
it
Okay.
like his last role I recently watched. But moving on, Mortal Kombat Legends Cage Match, the second or no, the fourth of those movies. It was really good, and I'm excited to see what character they focus on next, Because I think that
Hmm.
that going the anthology route was a good move for these direct to DVD and streaming movies.
Right.
Um, so Demon Slayer, I finally finished it.
Yay.
So the Crunchyroll website just isn't
Hmm.
working on my TV's web browser. You can't download the app.
Interesting.
So I just started watching Crunchyroll on my PlayStation whenever I watch it. And in
Hmm.
the process, I discovered that I can turn on my PlayStation by clicking on the HDMI source that is plugged into from the TV's main menu and proceed to control my PlayStation with my remote for the TV. Very interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was a thing.
that's really neat.
But yeah, I finished the episode. As usual, has some great action, art, and animation by Ufotable, and but like I said before, the story is okay. It's not bad, but it's nothing exceptional, and that's okay. Not everything needs to have like the greatest story ever told, especially a shonen anime, a battle shonen specifically, where Demon Slayer is about the fights and the Tanjiro and his relationship with his sister for the most part.
Yeah,
And
that makes
they
sense.
give you some emotional beats with some other characters every now and again that might tug on your heartstrings or keep you interested, but they're not trying to like tell the greatest story ever told. But
Right.
the art both in the manga and the show is incredible. Um, but yeah, having read the manga, I'm excited for the next season, and I anticipate there's only two left, maybe one season in a movie.
Hmm.
So we'll see.
Nice, nice.
I would say moving into animation, but we've been talking about animation for a while now.
Yeah.
Invincible season 2 part 2 is releasing
Yes.
March 14th.
Day
Much
after my birthday.
Oh wow, really? Much further
Yeah.
March. I mean much further removed from the first half of the season than I thought it would be. Now I think that people have a right to be upset because I thought it was coming. I think they actually said it was coming like January, February, but then it got pushed back. And
Mm,
they should. I get why people are upset now, and I think they have a right to be upset now. Of course, not at the animators, but the people above them that royally screwed this up by not just waiting longer to release the full season.
yeah.
Because honestly, if it's coming back in March, they probably just they probably should have just the season probably should have just started airing in January
Mm,
instead of what was it,
mm.
November that it started airing.
I believe so, yeah.
It should have just started airing in January, and then this wouldn't be as big of a problem, and there wouldn't have been a break at all. Or maybe there would have been, but it only would have been a couple weeks. So
Mm,
yeah, that was a weird choice on that part.
yeah.
The Bad Batch had a trailer for the final season, which premieres
Ooh,
February 21st with 3 episodes, and
exciting.
we'll see the return of fan favorite character, one of my favorite characters, Asajj Ventress, who's a Sith from the
Nice.
Clone Wars. And yeah, you did say you watched a little bit of Clone Wars,
I did, I did.
and
So
yeah,
I'm familiar.
in the she supposedly was dead, but maybe they're retconning that.
Interesting.
There's a novel that I've been meaning to read that she's in that I might have to check out soon.
Hmm.
Massive Universe Revelation, or excuse me, Revolution. I kept thinking that it was still called Revelations, but they actually called it the second season Massive Universe Revolution instead. Um, it was only 5 episodes versus the first season being 10 episodes with split into 2 parts. I thought this
Hmm.
was going to be the same, but no, it was just 5 episodes. And there were twists on top of twists this season. Uh,
Ooh.
do you mind if I spoil, or do you plan on watching it?
I don't mind spoilers. Go for it.
Yeah, so spoiler alert for anybody who plans watching it. He-Man was revealed to have a bastard uncle who is the rightful heir to the
Oh,
throne,
wow.
and his father passed away, so
Right.
he was next in line to take the throne, but his father told him like you can't be a king and He-Man, you have to choose one. Um,
Right.
so he relinquished it to his uncle, and it's revealed that the uncle is actually Skeletor in disguise.
Oh,
But the twist
wow.
doesn't end there. It's revealed in the next
Oh.
episode that Skeletor
Mhm.
actually is his uncle,
Oh,
and that
interesting.
Hordak erased his
Hmm.
memories when he recruited him to join his army back in the day when he first became Skeletor. So that was
I
very interesting.
can.
I assume like hardcore He-Man fans probably knew that, but I did not know that. So I was super surprised when that happened. And I swear to God, if She-Ra is in the
Mhm.
next season, I'm gonna be so upset. There was though, there's a little bit of hope. There was a
Right.
flashback with Skeletor back before he was Skeletor, where Hordak was breaking into the castle, and Adam was a baby, and there was a second baby, and Hordak kidnapped it and ran away, which is part of She-Ra's story.
Hmm.
She was taken from
Right.
her family, and she's Adam's brother, He-Man's brother, I mean sister,
Right.
and yeah, she
All these familiar relations. It's confusing us.
yeah, and she like works for Hordak before I think Adam comes and like frees her, and then she becomes She-Ra and stuff, and yeah, in the very end, like the just before the credits, they show Hordak who was injured by Skeletor because it's Skeletor, so he betrayed him, and he was
Hmm.
being put into a healing chamber by a woman, and people kept saying She-Ra showed up, She-Ra showed up, she's gonna be in the next season. I was like, what are you talking about? No, she didn't. They showed her as a baby, I guess, and that could hint at it, but that could also just be an Easter egg. Um, but apparently, maybe the evil lady at the end that was putting him into the chamber because they never show her face might be Amora, but
Hmm.
I'm I don't know because I don't think I'm mistaken. I've looked it up and there's there's a little bit of conflicting information, but for the most part, it's like I've always thought because that's what was said early on that this is a direct sequel to the original shows of He-Man and She-Ra.
Right.
So she would have already gone through the arc of being evil and turned good. So unless this isn't a, a continuation, and this is just a like a retelling of not retelling, but a reimagining of the story, then maybe it's her. But I don't know. I feel like
Hmm.
I'm just not sure because I have conflicting information. But I hope it was her and that she is in the next season. Um,
Right.
but yeah, that's all I got for animation. If you don't have anything, any cartoons you've been watching,
Nope, I don't have anything.
okay, moving on to comics. You been reading anything?
Nah, I'm gonna be honest. All the stuff that I've been. Oh, Hoseki no Kuni is about to come off hiatus, and I'm waiting for that. But it's starting to drag out a little bit. And I think it should have wrapped up about 3 chapters ago. We're on like 120 something, I want to say. I was expecting it to end at like 100 even, and then the mangaka keeps going on hiatus, not for like sickness or anything. She just does, just because, and there's nothing we can do about it. And then I've also been like kind of looking into Dungeon Meshi. I haven't started it yet, but I do want to start the manga before I watch the anime, I think.
Yeah, I'm not the way around. I'll watch the first season. If I really like it, I'll hop into the manga.
Makes sense, makes sense.
It's picking up where I left off. Where the anime usually left off.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I read Alan Scott Green Lantern, the last issue. As the trail of the person murdering people from Alan's past goes cold, the Green Lantern reluctantly teams up with the Spectre. It's a very interesting chapter with the Spectre. The Spectre's an interesting character that I kind of fell the way of treating him like a lot of people treat Superman, where the Spectre is this person who literally has powers from like God. So in my mind, he's always
Mm.
just this overpowered character who is like what does the Spectre do? He's boring, but he's not that powerful. He's powerful, but he's not that powerful.
Mm-hmm.
But also, he's like his alter ego is like a detective or something like that. So he's kind of like this noir type superhero. It's very interesting. And him and Green Lantern
Mm.
were going on an investigation. And Green Lantern is trying to keep the fact that he's gay secret from everybody, but it's very like
Mm.
all the Justice Society members like they're like we know, like he was talking to the Flash and the Flash like hinted at him knowing, and Green Lantern got upset like what are you talking about? No, I'm not, and then he ran away, and then, and then the Spectre just confronted him and they had a heartwarming conversation. He hugged him. I was like it's gonna be okay, my brother. It was great. Um, but yeah, Hawkgirl, the final issue. Hawkgirl sacrifices her past lives to repair the dimensional border between the Nth world and Earth. But because she didn't sacrifice her own, the border isn't fully fixed, and creatures from Nth world can still slip into Earth, leaving the door open
Mm.
for more Hawkgirl stories in the future. And I'm excited for that. Very interesting. I didn't expect them to get rid of her past lives so soon, but I'm interested to see where this goes. Jay Garrick, the Flash.
Ooh.
Villains that Jay didn't remember until they reappeared are attacking him and his daughter, who he also didn't remember until she reappeared. Flash
Mm-hmm.
time travel shenanigans. We also get a flashback of Jay's past where Boom, as she's called, ran back in time to help him stop a villain. And I love how old school comic this is with her just casually running back in time before she was born and
Mm-hmm.
helping her father. It's ridiculous. But Power Girl, this is the end of an arc as far as I can tell. It turns out Power Girl was right. and the AI that controlled the ship she flew to Earth in, and also forcibly kept her in a Matrix-like dream world, survived being destroyed by her and Superman in the past and has come back to take over her body. There's a lot going on, but
Oh
with
wow.
the help of Superman and her best friend Omen, the woman who I said was very similar to Jean Grey last time, they stop it
Hmm.
from taking over her mind and body, and but it manages to escape to traumatize her at a later date. um,
Mm-mm.
Batman, Superman, World's Finest. They are trapped in the universe of Kingdom Come. And Batman and Superman fight skewed versions of their friends that are being manipulated by an old god called Gog, who wants to use Superman's former sidekick, Kid Thunder's multiversal powers to start a war with Darkseid, where he purposely wants to lose. So, that's interesting. I like
That is really
Batman
interesting.
Superman World's Finest. It's just everything about that comic is meant to be like an homage to old school, like Silver Age comics, and it's fun.
Hmm.
But yeah, moving on to TV and film. Rest in
TV
peace,
film. Yeah.
Carl Weathers, the actor
Indeed.
who played Dylan in The Predator. The notorious meme, "You son of a bitch," where him and Arnold arm wrestle in midair.
Hmm.
Um, he played Grief Karga in Mandalorian, and my personal favorite role of his, Apollo Creed from the Rocky series. He passed away at the age of 76. I also discovered that he
Mm-mm.
was the voice of the basketball dude from that one episode of the regular show.
Really?
Yes,
The basketball king?
yes, he that was him. I did not know that, and now
No wonder that clip was all over my feed
yeah, when I saw
recently.
the clip and I heard the voice, I was like, that is him. But yeah, may he rest in peace. Carl Weathers was great.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there was a second trailer for Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire. It was a fun trailer. I'm excited for the movie. And the villain has a very fun design. They like took their horns off the wall and like plugged it into their skull. They're very creepy looking. I
Ooh.
like it. But yeah, I'm excited for this movie. I might have to rewatch the other ones before I see this. It's been a while since I've seen the first two. Um, Sonic 3. There was a logo reveal,
Yes.
but more importantly, Jim Carrey is returning as Eggman. Which
Yes.
makes me wish even more that they did Metal Sonic and Amy. I low key, I low key don't want Amy to show up in this movie. I want her to show up in the next movie with Metal Sonic. God damn it! I don't know why I'm so obsessed with her introduction being just like her introduction in Sonic CD. I don't know why, but I need it. But
Mm.
Avatar: The Last Airbender on Netflix. There was a trailer. I assume you saw it. Um,
I
it
did.
looks great visually, and I'm interested, but not particularly excited. It looks like they'll be doing the entirety of book one, which was 20 episodes, condensed into
Mhm.
eight, which worries me. But each episode will be an hour long, so that'll be an hour short of the length of the original show. And I can
Right.
imagine a bit of fat being trimmed to make that work. Um, However, my expectations were dropped back on the floor after several interviews with the creators of this adaptation have come out of them saying some wild stuff about the direction they're going with these
Yeah.
characters. They have seemingly missed the point of the three central characters' story arcs out of
Hmm.
a thinly veiled lack of respect for animation. It's very clear that they think they're doing better than what the cartoon did. Um,
Yep.
they plan on removing Sokka being sexist to the Kyoshi Warriors because they believe it's outdated, despite that episode ending with him realizing he was wrong to underestimate women.
Right.
They plan on making Gintara less of the mom of the group, because they find that
When that's
sexist,
like
despite the fact that
it's the whole bit
it's meant
though.
to be kind of sad and encapsulate Sokka and Gintara's childhood without parents. Um,
Yeah, like Katara has mommy issues. I'm
exactly,
sorry.
and so does Sokka.
Right.
Um, And lastly, but most importantly, they'll be removing the detours Aang forces the team to go on because they want him to be more serious about the situation, despite the fact that he's supposed to be a child overwhelmed with responsibility. That's the whole thing.
They
He
even
literally
say it
ran
in the
away he
opening.
literally ran away from the air temple, ended up getting stranded in the ocean and frozen for 100 years. He's trying to
Mm.
escape his responsibilities to seek comfort. He's in this like basically fighting Nazis. Like, come on now.
Right.
Like now, I understand why the Avatar creators Brian Kinesco and Michael DiMartino left the project. The writers
Yeah,
on
because
it clearly think they are enhancing the story for live action.
And it's like, no, you're ruining everything. I would have left too.
Yeah, for sure. I can't believe it. Honestly, I do still think it'll be decent despite these changes. I think it'll be okay, and they'll probably like finish it. Like it will probably like get all 4 seasons, but
Yeah,
and
but we won't be happy about it. I'm kidding.
and maybe they'll do Korra. Honestly, I would actually be interested in seeing them do Korra because I like Korra, but Korra
Yeah,
isn't
Core's good.
perfect. Um,
Yeah,
Especially the second season. Uh,
yeah.
everything else is great, but the second season, not so much. So I can see improvements being made to Korra if they ever get to that point.
Hmm.
And as much as these changes are weird and suck, I don't see it being like outright bad.
Right.
So
It's just not
the reality is,
Avatar. I think that's the thing.
it'll probably still do well and get all 4 seasons. And I'll be watching it. I'm not going to pretend like I'm not.
Right.
Because
Same.
maybe we'll be proven wrong and it'll still be really good.
Yeah.
But Percy
But my
Jackson.
hopes
Oh, sorry.
are low.
Yeah,
No, I was just saying my hopes are low.
yeah. But Percy Jackson season ended. It was good. Uh, I don't have too much to say about it. Other than that, it was good, and I don't really want to spoil it for you. I'm excited for the future of the series, especially since I learned about all the spin-off books. I'm really excited to see where it goes.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, it was fun. Saltburn. Tell me about Saltburn before we talk about the last thing before we move to video games.
Oh, oh, Saltburn. So, I watched it with a group of friends, and this to me is the definitive watching experience. I watched it with a group of friends who had seen it before without knowing anything about the movie. And while I will say it wasn't as inflammatory as I was expecting, because people hype it up a whole bunch, that doesn't make it any less like insane. This was the most insane movie I think I've ever seen in my life. And like my friends that I saw it with were like, there wasn't even any like cannibalism or anything. And I'm like, what kind of movies do y'all be watching that this isn't insane to y'all? And it's just like, yeah. But I
Well,
really
first
liked
off,
it.
they're like adding, they're putting like these very lesbian type things on this gay story. Like you gotta,
Yeah.
gay people don't do cannibalism. That's a lesbian thing.
Yeah. It's like that's our thing. Cannibalism is a metaphor for love. And this was more of an Ouroboros type story. And I like that it was less um like, oh, upper class people are terrible, and then that's just like and more about the middle class's obsession with being upper class. Like that was a really interesting angle to take it from, which you don't see very often or at all, I think. And I like that a lot. Ollie is terrible and I hate him. Worst movie not protagonist, but like I forgot what you call it. I don't like Ollie very much
Darude
for
antagonist
a myriad of reasons.
or
Huh?
antagonist? I said Darude antagonist or antagonist.
Probably Darude antagonist because he's not. I guess you could call him an antagonist. And see, that's the interesting part. It's like the character classifications.
Is that
Also,
is
the
that Jacob
butler.
Elordi's
Huh?
character?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, I might have checked this out. I keep hearing about it.
Saltburn's a good movie. You should watch it. I liked it a lot. And the butler Duncan deserves to be in a better movie. Not better as in like the movie was bad, but better as in away from all the craziness. But that's all I've got for Saltburn. Yeah,
Very cool. I'll have to check that out.
you should.
So I
You should.
finally watched Shin Godzilla, and I discovered. Well, actually, I think I knew this beforehand, but forgot. It's written and directed by the creator of Neon Genesis Evangelion,
Oh wow.
Hideki Anno. Um, and it's a very political focused Godzilla film. That was
Right. Was
honestly, it was hard to keep up with at times, like to the point to where I for a couple seconds before I stopped liking it. I actually cut on the English dub,
mm,
because I was like, they are talking way too much, way too fast. It
right.
was hard to keep up and read them subtitles, but I turned it back because it just sounded weird. I do like watching old like either usually like kung fu movies with English dub because it just makes it more fun and it's so goofy.
Right. It's
Like
so
like I
charming.
grew up watching kung fu movies from the '70s with my dad, and watching them dubbed. It was always fun. So like, if I go back and
Mm-hmm.
watch the older Godzilla movies, I'll probably watch them dubbed because it'll be more fun that way. But
Right.
modern movies, I don't like to watch them dubbed if they're live action specifically. Um, Yeah, very political focused. And there's a lot of bureaucracy happening. And where's a minus one's human element focused on the veterans of World War II that were discarded by the government coming together to fight Godzilla, who
Mm.
kind of represents how the nuclear strike on Japan. Who hold on, what am I trying to say? Who he I lost my train of thought, but who represents how the nuclear strike on Japan, despite how unjust, was partly due to how horrible Japan was. A lot of people forget that because of the strike, which there's no justifying it by any means because nuclear bombs only hurt civilians.
Right.
And the Japan was not a great country before that. They did a lot of
Yeah.
horrible things. Like the creator of Godzilla, he says outright that that is what the original Godzilla was about. Like he says, if you think Godzilla was about America being the bad guys or just nuclear powers being the bad guys, that's part of it. But the bigger part is Japan kind of reaping what they sow because he was a
Right.
soldier during that time, and he says that he had an experience where he was in Korea and he was stationed outside of what was essentially a brothel where people were forced to have sex with soldiers, and he
Mm.
guarded that and he heard all of that and he grew a disdain for the Japanese government after that, and then made this film.
Which makes sense.
So
Yeah.
yeah, but this movie focuses on modern day Japan, and like I said, politics, and essentially is meant to be a representation of Japan's reaction to real life natural disasters and critiques their failure as a government to properly address the dire needs of the people in those times of natural disasters in real life, like their actual.
Right. Which is topical given the earthquakes that happened at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, apparently Japan just like they make it's meant to be slightly humorous in some segments where like I said, there's a lot of talking and there's so much talking that nothing ever gets done, and that's like one of the
Mm.
biggest critiques is that they're too busy arguing to actually get things done, and as a result, people die. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, Godzilla looks disgusting and very scary in this film. The CGI sometimes looks like stop motion, and I think it's on purpose to like call back to some of the older films where it was a guy in a suit, but they're trying to make it look older. Um,
Hmm.
Now, while I did enjoy this movie, to me it's nowhere near as good as minus one. I feel like the biggest thing this movie is missing by comparison is more compelling characters. Other than the
Mm.
main dude who even him I didn't really care for. I didn't really care for anyone. Whereas in
Hmm.
minus one, you have several characters you latch on to emotionally. Which
Right.
is also something that the American made Godzilla films lack. Is that like all the human stuff is super boring, and whereas in the Japanese ones, you at least care about the characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, these
Also, I'm looking at Shin Godzilla. This is I don't like it.
yeah, it's
Why is he's so flashy? Ugh.
yeah, it's Godzilla in this movie is ridiculously powerful. This is the most powerful I've ever seen Godzilla. He can shoot the lasers out of his back. It's weird.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, but yeah, these depressing as Godzilla movies love ending with a hint at a potential sequel, which I think I might have misread it. Whereas it was supposed to be Godzilla. Throughout the movie, you see he looks weird and fleshy, but then he evolves into like the normal Godzilla we usually see, which still looks
Right.
kind of nasty. But uh, I think I misread it as it being a sequel bait. Whereas, spoiler, alert, do you plan on watching Shin Godzilla? It's not even that big of a spoiler, but
No,
still.
no,
So like
I
he
don't.
he evolved, like it was getting to the point to where his next evolution was Godzilla was basically gonna like make offspring that were not the size of humans but much smaller, and that would have
Interesting.
been horrible because they had a hard
Little
time taking down Godzilla. So there were a bunch of
right.
tiny mini Godzillas. They would have been
Godzilla-lings, if you will.
it would have been over for them. But yeah, my Godzilla game idea has even more legs now because like I said, at the end it's revealed that he makes little tiny ones. So my idea with that game was that there are tiny Godzilla, like Godzilla has children that you like that are like the fodder enemies that you fight before you got to stop
Mm.
Godzilla. So yeah,
Guy. Makes
there was
sense.
also a mention in the movie because Godzilla keeps evolving that Godzilla could potentially sprout wings and fly across the world, spreading its destruction. And I was like, that is horrifying, but I kind of want to see it.
That is terrifying. Like,
But I kind of want to see it. That sounds cool. Make a Godzilla movie where he flies. Make a Godzilla movie where Godzilla is basically a dragon.
That'd be silly.
But moving on to video games, where we would be spending a lot of time. Because we had a
Yes,
PlayStation State
yes.
of Play, we have Persona 3 Reload, and we have what I'm about to talk
Yep.
about. So I sent you a trailer for a game called Just Another Fantasy Title. Did you check that out?
I saw,
It
and I'm
looks like
interested.
a fantasy like OG GTA, the GTA that was top down. It looks like that, and that is very interesting. I'm interested to
Very
see
interesting.
more about this game.
Hmm.
um, but a big thing is potentially Xbox games might be coming to PlayStation. So
Which is insane to me.
reportedly, upcoming Xbox games like Indiana Jones and Doom Year Zero, which was in that leak we talked about a while back,
Hmm.
games by recently acquired studios like Starfield, Hi-Fi Rush, and tried and true Xbox exclusives like Sea of Thieves, Microsoft Flight Simulator, Hellblade, the Gears of War series, and the Halo series will be
Oh
coming to
wow.
PlayStation. So, with the company that just spent billions to buy another, I don't see them making already exclusive games available to PlayStation. If they had just listed the games from recently acquired studios, I'd have believed it. Um, but Halo and Gears being included made me doubt any of these games are coming to PlayStation until
Hmm.
I saw the head of Xbox, Phil Spencer, post on Twitter. We're listening and we hear you. We've been planning a business update event for next week where we look forward to
Ooh.
sharing more details with you about our vision for the future of Xbox. Stay tuned. The week of the 12th of February. So upcoming week. And that made me go, okay. When I heard like potentially Xbox and Gears coming, I was like, okay, this is oddly fake because why would they do that? But then when he released this, I was like, oh wait, what is this actually happening? But then before I even get to what I think is actually happening, let me talk about an idea that uh, so I saw brought up online that I didn't even think of. That I realized, oh, this could be a big problem in ways that I didn't even think of. So the idea is seemingly to make more money, obviously, by releasing it on other platforms. But a problem that's being brought up that I didn't consider at first is that this could result in the PS6 costing an arm and a leg because there would no longer be
Mm,
any more competition. The reality
right.
is that Xbox would likely go the way of Sega if they did this and start focusing exclusively on software because if you can only play PlayStation games on PlayStation, but you can play Xbox games on PlayStation and Xbox, people are obviously going to go for the PlayStation to maximize the amount of games they can play.
Right.
And as we've said 1,000 times on this podcast, monopolies are bad for the consumer. Competition is good. This just doesn't sound like something a company that is trying to become a bit of a gaming monopoly themselves would do after all these acquisitions that cost billions of dollars.
Hmm.
But according to Verge, Bethesda specifically is trying to get their games on other consoles. So Indiana Jones and the next Doom game, and
Oh.
maybe even Blade, because that's made by Arcane, which is published by Bethesda. So I think that it's the newly bought studio games that might end up continue to be multi-platform, like Activision games like Call of Duty. Um, despite being brought out by Xbox, and that the other games
Hmm.
like Hellblade, Gears, and Halo were just thrown in there to get attention. I don't think that
Mm.
I think it's absolutely ridiculous that anybody thinks that Xbox is going to put Halo and Gears of War on PlayStation and Nintendo. Why would they do that?
Yeah.
Why would they allow their two biggest exclusive games be put on other consoles? That would immediately, if they did this, it would immediately kill their console. The console would be dead in the water because
Right.
nobody would have a reason to play Xbox anymore because you can just get all your Xbox games on PlayStation and Nintendo now, as well as
Yeah.
PC. So why do I need to own Xbox?
Right.
Like I don't think this is happening. I think what we're going to see is probably like I said, Ian and Jones, the next Doom game, Call of Duty, like those games that are from
Yeah.
studios that they just acquired. So there might still be some contracts out there that they still have with other companies that they have to finish up. Like I don't see them putting all of their games on other consoles. That would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a precedence of some games from other companies being on other consoles. Like for example, MLB The Show used to be an exclusive PlayStation game, the baseball game.
Oh
But
wow.
it's a couple years back they actually started releasing it on Xbox and Nintendo. So Call of Duty could be that for Xbox, where they still release where they release that game on other consoles.
Because I know it's on PC, or at least some of the Call of Duty games are, I think.
I mean, all of the Call of Duty games are everywhere right now, but
Ah,
soon they might not be. Pal World.
gotcha. Ugh.
I'm loving this game. It's so fun. It's on Game Pass, and I got Game Pass
Mhm.
earlier than I was going to because I was getting it for Persona. But then I saw this, and I was like, I gotta check this out because I wasn't
Right.
like I saw the some of the trailers a while back, and it went in like one ear out the other because I was like, oh, it's just Pokemon with guns. It's not gonna do well. And then I watched somebody. Then I saw how well it was doing, and then I saw somebody streaming. I was like, hold on, this game kind of looks fun, and it also looks like the Pokemon game of my dreams. I've always wanted a
Right.
Pokemon game that did away with the turn-based combat, and Palworld
Mhm.
does a good job of translating Pokemon combat to real-time combat very well. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, I didn't realize that there was a survival aspect until I like I said, I watched some people stream it. And
Mhm.
having never played a survival game before, the base building is pretty intuitive in this game and not too like obtrusive. And it's
That's
like
good.
I said, it's easy to do and it's actually fun to do. Like you, once you get into the base building, you're gonna spend like a lot of time base building more than you do probably catching pals. Honestly, um,
Yeah, sounds about right. That's usually how those kinds of games go.
yeah, there's a bit of controversy, not in just the plagiarism, which we'll get to, but also in the fact that maybe AI was used to make it. And so far, nothing has been proved. And this game was in development way before the AI fad started. But you know, who knows? If it ever comes out that it's AI, I'll stop playing it. But until then, I'm gonna have my fun. Um,
Right.
but even beside that, having some designs very clearly inspired by Pokemon is funny. But the blatant ripoffs are a bit much, and they should honestly
Yeah.
redesign the vast majority of these Pokemon or pals, um,
See,
because
that's
I don't want to see this game get crushed under the boot of Nintendo because this game is really fun,
yeah.
and I'm honestly really excited to see how the game evolves because there's a lot of things they could do to make this game better. And so far, as it is as an early access, it's really good, and
That's an
it's
early access? I didn't know
yeah,
that.
and it's only gonna get better from here. So I'm really excited to see where this game goes. I'm playing it on an Xbox, like I said, and I'm trying to play with my little brother because, as fun as it is, I'm starting to reach my limit, and I need more people to play with to make it fun again or more fun.
Right.
Right now, I'm just taking a break playing Persona, but this game's good. I would definitely suggest checking it out. It's a good game, I promise. It's fun.
All
it's
right.
surprisingly fun. It's on
I guess I'll
PC,
take a look.
but
Because
yeah,
like I was avoiding it because of the goodness gracious, controversy and stuff, and I was like, it's just Pokemon with guns, which does not interest me because I just like regular turn-based Pokemon. But I'll give it a shot because everyone that I know that has it is saying it's really
yeah, it's a fun game. But moving on to Persona 3 Reload. This isn't the last thing because we still have to sit
yes,
and play. But I wanted to do the
right.
second last because oh my god, I'm having such a good time playing this game. This game's so fun. Uh, so I'm having such a good time that despite how long I know it'll take, I
Hmm.
think that I'll finish it,
Oh
and maybe
wow,
even after I finish it. Um,
I'll play it again.
no, I'm gonna play Persona 5 Royal. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh wow,
Because I think I'm getting into the groove of how I need to pace myself out when playing these games. I feel like
right.
so I think I understand what I need to do, and
Hmm.
I feel like it's been so long since it's been literal years since I played the original Persona 5 that it would also be a waste to play that when I know that there's another version of it that adds so much more. So I'm just gonna
Yeah.
play Royal from the beginning to refresh myself and also absorb all the new stuff that they added. Coincidentally, a friend of mine is currently playing Persona 5 Royal. I had to make sure he's playing Royal
Hmm.
because I said I was playing Persona 3. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm playing Persona 5. And I was like, hold on. Please tell me you're playing Royal because if you're playing original, that's a waste. Just play Royal, please. But yeah, he's playing Royal. So he's having a good
Cool,
time.
cool.
And maybe when he finishes 5, I'll be finished with 3. And then we switch and he starts playing 3 and I start playing 5 Royal.
That would be funny.
But yeah, I didn't know that the Dark Hour segments would mostly take place in Tartarus, but I'm not mad at
They
it.
would. Yeah. Yeah.
Because where Persona 3 is kind of like basically a maze. Persona 5 is basically a maze. Persona 3 is much more straightforward.
Hmm.
It's much easier to play for long periods of time because of that. And I feel like Persona 3 overall is just more simpler than 5 and therefore more
Oh,
digestible.
absolutely.
But I feel like in some ways that's also a flaw in comparison to 5 because sometimes it gets a little too repetitive after a while, whereas
Hmm.
Persona 5 has a lot of variety.
Yeah.
So it's easy to get overwhelmed in Persona 5, but it's easy for me to get bored sometimes with Persona 3 and have to take a break.
Top three.
So
Makes
they
sense.
both have reasons for me to take a break with them. I get overwhelmed with P5, I get bored with P3, and I have to take a break and do something else and come back. So I'll probably like play some of the PS3 games I got recently in between to give myself a break. But yeah, this game definitely has the coolest way to summon a persona that I've seen so far with the evokers. It's real cool.
Right.
And why are all the characters winter clothes on the weekends? So why are they all so fresh? What's going on? Why do they all dress so
That's
well?
that's one thing that Cease has over the Phantom Thieves and the Investigation. They can dress.
Why do
Call
they
them ranch.
in the
'Cause they,
winter they all dress the best that they possibly can. I was
yeah.
honestly they dress so well in the winter that I was honestly disappointed with their summer fits because your summer fits don't hit as hard.
No,
Go
that's
back to your
real.
winter fits. But yeah, I one thing I've always hated about Persona is how they don't give you a proper tracker for the social stats. You
Yeah.
like what is it, the charm, courage, and academics? They don't give you like a
Hmm.
proper. They just do like up, it's going up, and it's like okay, I would like to know
What
how close I am to actually
to
reaching the
the
next
next
level,
level? Right.
instead of you just telling me it's happening and like what's happening? Tell me. Every other thing has an actual tracker you can see. What's happening with this? But yeah, how you having fun with it? I'm like I
So
think
as
12 hours in.
I'm less time in, but as the diehard Persona 3 fan here, because I beat FES 3 times the whole way through. I like that game that much. And it was terrible. It was a horrible experience all 3 times, but I love that game to pieces. Reload is everything I could have hoped for and more. Like the graphics, the music I was a little iffy on at first, starting to grow on me. The graphics, the
I'm loving
music,
the
the
music,
like
especially
the
the
little
new battle theme.
mhm.
So good.
Yeah, yeah.
I
The
literally
small
on the way to work, I listened to it on
mhm.
repeat the entire time.
And you're real for that. Yeah, the small quality of life changes, like it's everything I could have hoped for and more. And I'm so glad that like all the hype was worth it. And I was kind of iffy because I wasn't gonna get it launch day. I was like, I'm gonna wait for it to like go on sale or something. And then it was like 3 minutes before midnight and I came and bought it. And yeah.
Yeah, I sent you that picture of me starting the game, and I was like, and you're like, I don't think about it. I was like, no,
And
you
I was like,
buy it.
it was like you, another friend of mine, and like the entirety. I'm in a server, full of Persona 3 fans for like a Secret Santa gift exchange event, whatever. But it's still active now because it's like it's just become a like a general fan server. Everyone was posting their reload screenshots at midnight. So it's like, whatever, fine, I'll buy it. Ugh. And I'm enjoying it a lot. Yeah, I was gonna play it on Game Pass, but I was like,
What I said, but I had muted myself in OBS by mistake, was that I wish I would have told you to get Persona 3 Reload on Game Pass so that you can also play Palworld with me because I need people to play Palworld with because all my friends either have PlayStations or Switches, and only a few of them have Xbox, and those few that have Xboxes probably wouldn't be interested in playing Palworld with me.
right. Which is real. But yeah, that's my one qualm with Reload. There was no Switch release planned or like even done, and that feels like lost money to me. Cause like Atlas saw how well Persona 3 Portable, which I also have on Switch. I've been playing both, which is
Yeah, you
truly
know,
insane.
Persona fans were actually able to play Persona once it came
Yeah,
out on
yeah.
Switch.
Right. They were able to play their favorite game. But like they saw how well Royal 4 and P3P did on um was it Switch? So like why not plan for
Because the
a Switch
Switch
release?
is a significantly weaker console, and the only reason it's not on
Yeah.
Switch yet, it will come out on Switch because they want that money. It's not on Switch yet because they have to make a lot of adjustments to make it work on Switch versus making a version that works on both PlayStation, PC, and Xbox.
Makes sense, makes sense. Now it when I guess I'll say I'll manifest. It comes out on Switch. You will have to prevent me from making unwise financial decisions. I cannot buy this game twice. I can't do it for 70. I can't do it.
Stop this.
I have bills to pay. However,
Stop this madness.
However, it's like,
I'm not gonna
man,
lie. I was almost going to get
mhm.
the like super
Digital
deluxe
deluxe
edition
edition.
because
Me
I saw it and
too.
I was like, oh, that looked kind of cool.
Right.
It looked
Like
cool.
I don't even have an Xbox, but the I just figure. But I got the regular
But yeah, but
one.
I
I
was
didn't
like,
even
I don't
get the
know if I'm a
digital
big enough fan of this to
deluxe.
get that, but like, I don't know. Whatever that, I'll probably get the like deluxe edition of that fucking Metal Gear Solid remake. I'm not gonna hold you,
Real.
but
I got the only I think deluxe edition of a game I've ever purchased was the deluxe edition of Persona 5 Strikers. And then I played that game for like 2 hours. It was more than that. I played the game for like 10 hours and I was like, eh, because I don't like the like what do you call that kind of gameplay where it's like you fight crowds of
yeah,
enemies
there's a
and
name
then
for it. I
like
just can't remember it, but it's like a
yeah,
dinosaur type name.
I don't enjoy games like that. And Strikers is good and I love Sophia. I can't get into it.
Yeah. Damn, I forgot what I was gonna say. But yeah, I'm enjoying the game. It's fun. Oh yeah, so like the team was split making Persona 3 Reload and was it Metaphor Refantasia? And
Mm,
so we're they say that they're not gonna make like another like a Royal or like a Fez or what was it Golden because
hmm
they're like gonna start working on Persona 6. Um
right. Which makes sense.
which makes sense. I wish they here's the thing, even though I hate that, I wish that they did it for the sake of the people who are like who want all that additional content that is not here. Like if they were to do like another Fez version, they would probably add the female protagonist and all the other stuff that wasn't there before.
Yeah.
But
I
some people are
I
saying
do know
that
that
something they might add is like the DLC.
yeah, I was gonna say there I know we're getting the answer is DLC, maybe.
I think
But
it makes sense for them to do that at the very least if they don't do the female
yeah.
protagonist. I feel like
But then
I'm
also
trying to think.
like
Does the female protagonist significantly change anything? Or is it just a different body?
yes, her story's completely
Oh,
different and
okay.
her social links are too.
Oh, that's interesting. Because
Yeah, which
they do kind of lock you to only being able to have romantic stuff with like opposite gender, don't they?
yeah, it kind of sucks. The female protagonist can so in Persona 3 Portable, her dialogue options are different. The female protagonist can form social links, period. Because in original Persona 3, you couldn't form social links with the male members of the specialized as the cease.
Mm.
It just wasn't possible. In P3 Portable, the female protagonist is able to, of course, date them, except Junpei. You can't date him for plot reasons. But yeah, so Shinjiro, Akihiko, spoiler character who I cannot name right now. You're able to form social links with them and learn more about their while in regular Persona 3, that wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
What else? What are the other differences between Oh, and the female protagonist gets a new velvet so you get to pick between Elizabeth, who is in Reload, and her younger brother that she briefly mentions, Theodore, and um, he's really cool. Theodore's cool. I like him.
Okay, that's interesting. But yeah,
Yeah,
they're working on.
he's the second youngest of
But
the Velvet Room.
since they're doing this split team thing, well, first and foremost,
Hmm
since they're not gonna do the royal thing for Persona 3, I swear to God, they better not do it for Persona 6.
You know they are. You know
Oh
they are.
boy, they better not. They better
It's
just.
Atlas. You know they are. And when I say Atlas, imagine that there's like a dollar sign. Place the S there.
It's Sega is what it is, but uh, yeah, they probably will, but I hope they don't because I think if they were going to remake another one, they're probably just going to do four. I don't think they're going to go back and do the first two. It would be cool if they went back and
Yeah.
did the first two in the same style as like the current games. That would be cool.
Right.
But I don't think they
I just
will.
wish they'd acknowledge one or two, period.
Yeah.
That would be nice,
But
you know?
I don't think they're gonna go back and remake the first two. So I think at the very least, since they remade three, and it's probably I don't know how well it's doing. I've just been playing it. I haven't really been. I've been avoiding just watch people talk about it because I don't want to get spoiled. So
It's been doing really
yeah,
well.
I didn't know
Like
how well it was doing.
it
But yeah, since it's
really,
doing
really
well
well.
and it's probably gonna continue to do well, they're gonna remake four.
Yeah.
And I'm
But that's
excited
the
for that.
thing though,
Because I feel
four
like four has the potential
doesn't
to be my favorite. But I don't know. Maybe five will continue to be my favorite. But I feel like four has the potential to be up there.
Yeah, my thing with four is that like it's not like five and three have like huge sub fan bases. There's love for 4, but it's not nearly as strong as there is like the love for 5 and 3 is for a lot
I
of
don't know. It
reasons.
seems equal between all of them for me when I see when I see it online.
I guess because like I'm deeper into Persona fandom space. It's like when you ask people their favorite, there's not many people that are gonna be like, "Oh yeah, Persona 4." It's my least favorite, to be honest. So I might be slightly biased, but
Yeah,
yeah,
but
I don't know.
I don't see I don't. That's not really a good reason for them not to do it. They're probably gonna do it though, because especially if they
Yeah,
only got to remake one more, they're gonna do it
yeah.
to make
I'm
the
holding
money.
out
And
for
hope
Persona Q3 that has all 5 games. Because Q2 was great. I love Q2. I'm playing it again actually. Now that I have a DS that works, and that's been fun. But I want a Q3 with everybody in it, including the female protagonist again, because that was a good thing. But Tatsuya exists.
yeah. And what was I gonna say? Oh, I hope when they do remake it, it is the golden version and they don't do any BS.
Right.
Um, but yeah, that's all I got to say about Persona 3. Um,
Yeah, same.
moving on to the PlayStation State of Play. Unfortunately, at the end of their State of Play, they announced there was going to be a Final Fantasy 7 Rebirths State of Play today. But I was
Uh,
hoping that it was happening at a reasonable time so that we could record after 4 or something. But
mhm.
it happens at 6:30, and I'm like, that's way too late.
That
That's
is way too
that's
late.
after work. Yeah, nah. I'll just have to talk about it next episode. Because I believe they're probably gonna release a demo like they did with the first game. So
Ooh,
I'll be able to talk about that and the demo. Uh, yeah, talking about the PlayStation State of Play that happened a couple of days ago. Stellar Blade. I sent you a lot of trailers.
you
Stellar
did?
Blade. We got another trailer for Stellar Blade that went into more detail on the story and the world. According to the PlayStation blog, Stellar Blade follows the journey of Eve, a warrior who descends from an off-world colony to defeat the Naytibas, humanity's enemy that suddenly emerged on Earth. The Naytibas appear to be
Mm-mm.
attacking the human race at the will of a higher entity composed of Alpha and an Elder, but no one really knows about their origin. The protagonist, Eve, finds herself in a devastated world where she meets Adam, a survivor left on Earth, and Lily, a member of a previous airborne squad. Together, they join forces in battle against the Naytibas. Along the way, part Eve's party works with the surviving citizens gathered in the last human city, Zion. It's very
Mm.
reminiscent of Nier in a lot of ways. Still haven't played
Mhm.
that
It
yet.
does, the plot sounds very
I
Nier-esque,
have to
which
get around to
is
that eventually.
interesting.
Still have it on disc. Still haven't
Yeah.
played it yet. I haven't even put the disc in the console to download it. Um, but yeah, this is releasing April 26th, and we've had I think it was me and you. There's a whole clip about it that I think is hilarious. That
Hmm.
we talked about jiggle fixes before, and you know what? I low key
We
think
did.
that it might have been a trailer for Stellar Blade that actually led to that
It
conversation.
was. It was. I remember this conversation. It was.
But this game looks cool. Let's be okay
It does.
before we get into over sexualizing these characters. Let's actually talk about the game. So the
Right.
game looks also the game looks great. It looked cool. Like I said, I haven't played Nier. It'd be crazy if I played it before Nier, which I probably will. But
Real.
it'll probably make me like Nier more if this isn't nearly as good. No pun intended.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it looks fun. But anyway, she has a lot of different costumes, and that's cool. The costumes actually look really cool. I wasn't they showed a lot of different costumes. I hope that they don't cost money. That would suck. Hopefully they're just unlockable throughout the story and use in-game currency rather than actual money. Um,
Hmm.
but the thing about jiggle fixes that we talked about before is that the problem is that the reason they're so exaggerated now is because they had to be exaggerated before because of the limitations of technology. We don't
Right.
have those limitations anymore. Okay, Street Fighter 6 has the most realistic muscle and fat physics I've ever seen in a game, and a lot of games are starting to do stuff like that. And honestly, they're doing it for sex appeal, right? The thing is,
Hmm.
it would be way sexier if these things just moved like they do in real life. The over exaggeratedness to me just makes it too goofy and weird and therefore unattractive. Because I feel like if they moved realistically, people would like it more. I feel like you
Right.
just stop making jiggle faces so over exaggerated. But anyway, moving on. This releases April 26th. Relatively soon. Um,
Yeah.
but Sonic X or Cross Shadow Generations. Um,
Yes.
yeah, remastered and expanded for PlayStation 5 and 4 alongside an all new standalone campaign for Shadow. I assume it's also going to be on Xbox. Um, yeah, they're definitely doing this in anticipation for Sonic 3, which is supposed to come out in December. Um, yeah, I never played Generations. Uh, well,
Me neither.
I haven't played too many Sonic games in general. I played like some of the older ones on like emulators. But
Hmm.
I was thinking about checking out Mania. Um, which speaking of, there was like this super long gameplay preview of the game made by that same team. Uh,
Hmm.
Penny's I forgot to Penny's Big Breakaway. That looks
Uh,
that game looks so good. I should have sent it to you, but like he plays this like circus performer who uses a yo-yo. It looks real good. It's 3D instead of 2D. It's very fun. I read a whole article on it. Honestly, I should have added it to my notes. Maybe we'll talk about it next time. But I really want to play that game. It looks good. But Dave the Diver is having a crossover with Godzilla. Why is Dave the Diver having all of these random crossovers lately? It's so random, but I'm not mad at it. V Rising is a vampire survivor game that caught my attention, and I didn't think it would. Become the ruler of the night in V Rising, a solo or co-op vampire experience that combines the best of the survival and action RPG genres in the signature survival style. You climb your way from the bottom of the food chain all the way to the top through grit, cleverness, and force of will in a narrative twist. Excuse me. Uh,
hmm.
you don't start as vulnerable prey in the wilderness, aiming to evolve into a clever hunter. Instead, you take on the role of the weakened predator, seeking to reclaim its position as the ultimate force in a dangerous, hostile realm. In a
Oh
land of
wow.
humans and monsters that no longer has a place for you, it's your job to carve it out for yourself. But yeah, you play as a vampire, and that's interesting. It looks cool. Um, maybe I'll check it out. They show some of the combat for Silent Hill 2, which I'm not super interested in this. And a lot of people, like hardcore fans, are not very happy about how this is looking.
Yeah,
Well,
they're for good reason, to be honest.
but also this just isn't really my type of survival horror game because it's more, what is it, like psychological with a little bit of combat. Whereas I like my Resident Evil just shooting stuff. I like
Right.
action survival horror. I talked about before. I'm not a fan of with the Sphere Hunter on YouTube dubs like hide and seek horror. I'm not a fan of that.
Hmm. Which is
I
real.
want to fight. But we saw some another look at Judas made by Ghostfire Games and Ken Levine, the mastermind behind the BioShock games. In Judas, you explore the corridors of the Mayflower, a spacefaring city whose citizens are trained to spy on one another and tear each other apart for the slightest offense. Where machines control every aspect of business, art, and government, the ship's leaders tried to turn you into something you're not, a model citizen, and you sparked a devastating revolution to tear it all down. So, I bought the Bioshock games on my Xbox. Still haven't played them yet.
Hmm.
I will eventually. I hear they're good. They're immersive sims, but much more action oriented immersive sims. Where
Yeah.
I'm much more used to like stealth focused immersive sims like Dishonored. Like whereas Dishonored takes inspiration from the Thief games, which is like one of the first immersive sim franchises.
Oh
Bioshock
yes, Thief
take
is so good,
yeah,
by the way.
Bioshock takes its inspiration from dang System Shock, which is
Hmm.
another early immersive sim game. And yeah, I don't know if I like it as much, but we'll see if I check it out. And if I like that, then I'll probably like this. Which it
Yeah.
seems like there will be much more like you like decision making that will affect the world in this. According to like the
Hmm.
PlayStation blog. So we'll see.
Exciting.
There's no date for this yet. Legendary Tales is an insane looking VR game that I'd love to play, but I'm not spending a couple $100 on a VR headset I'll barely use.
Makes
Actually,
sense.
actually releases in 2 days on February 8th.
Oh wow.
And like you're just fighting a bunch of like skeletal warriors, and like the physics look really cool, and it just looks real fun. Uh, I just don't have the headset to play it. But Rise of Ronin. The reoccurring theme of this state of play is that they showed some combat. They showed tons of combat in this trailer, and it looked very good and more like Ghost of Tsushima than the other games that Team Ninja have made, like Neo and Wolong.
Hmm.
According to the PlayStation blog, a variety of weapons are available for battling your enemies. In addition to Team Ninja's signature swordplay, you can wield Japanese spears and ranged firearms, including foreign pistols. Use the flamethrower like fire pipe to roast groups and ignite flammable barrels, or wield the bayonet to deflect blades and counter rifle blasts. They also showed more of the traversal, where you use a grappling rope to scale rooftops and other heights,
Mm.
and you can deploy a glider in midair to soar through the air. And of
Ooh.
course, there's a horse. Yeah, this release is March 22nd, the same day as Dragon's Dogma and Princess Peach Showtime.
Oh wow.
So there's gonna be some competition that day. I'm gonna be playing this person.
Mm-hmm. Real.
Until Dawn is getting a remaster for modern consoles.
Really?
And if I'm being honest, it doesn't look like an impressive enough upgrade to really warrant it. But
Mm.
just like with The Last of Us remake, they're doing it in anticipation of the live action adaptation, which is also a weird thing that's happening. Because like the thing with these type of games is that it's the choice that makes it interesting.
Right.
And like removing that choice kind of like would make it less interesting, unless they do like a Black Mirror type thing where you can actually like watch the movie and make choices. That would be interesting. Or something me and Amir talked about was like, what if like every like what if there's like a dozen different versions of the movie with like different combinations and permutations of like characters that live and die, and they release
Hmm.
multiple versions of the movie that has
Like how
that.
they did with Spider-Verse, kind of.
Yes, but even more.
Mm.
That would be cool. Uh,
That would be really
like
cool.
this, they could do some fun stuff with it, but at the same time, it feels weird and unnecessary. But the there will be, they say, some story enhancements though. So it seems like they'll be making some slight changes to the story to make it a little bit better. So at least there's that. But there's also a chance that the footage shown in the teasers and on the blog is more from the original game and not necessarily indicative of what the remaster will look like. At least that's what I hope,
Mm.
because the remaster, like, it still looks like a PS4 game. It doesn't necessarily look like it's been like, you know, made to live up to the standards of like PS5 and Xbox Series X and PC and stuff.
Right.
But last but not least, Death Stranding 2 on the beach. We got a
Yes. 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 Yes.
long trailer. That trailer was, I didn't notice it when I was watching it, but then I saw it when I was sending it to you. And I was like, this trailer's like 9 minutes long. What the hell?
Right.
When you're
Makes
watching
sense
it, it
though.
doesn't feel that long though, because it's just entertaining. It's like watching a
Yep.
movie. It's so fun.
Kojima, you madman.
Despite having a better understanding of the world since the first game released,
Mm.
this trailer still manages to confuse me. um, there's some really cool action. There's a whole scene where you don't play anything. Where one of the characters from the first game, played by Troy Baker, is fighting this giant samurai with a guitar axe that also
Mm.
is a railgun, and it is the most Kojima thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It
Mm.
was real cool. I
Very much
like I
so.
said, I didn't play the first one, and I don't plan on playing the first one, but I might play this one because the director's cut, or whatever they called it, for Death Stranding, added a lot more action
Hmm.
and a lot more technology to help you traverse. And a big part of the game is that if you kill a human, you like summon these weird ghost things. So to combat that and add more combat, they will have
Right. Ah.
robots in this game for you to fight. So two
Oh
things
wow.
I hope that they do. I hope the stealth is incredible.
Hmm.
Because that's just what he's known for, and I want the stuff to be good. And the stuff wasn't, from what I've seen, like I said, I haven't played it that good in the
Yeah.
first Death Stranding. So when you go against like humans where you can't kill them, you have to knock them out. I hope the stealth is better.
Hmm.
Um, and then also the combat against the robots that you will be able to actually shoot and kill because they're not living is fun.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I want this game I want to enjoy this game because I wasn't like interested in it. Well, I was vaguely interested. Then when I saw what it was, I was like, this isn't for me. But I could see myself potentially liking this one more. The combat. I was trying to say gameplay and combat at the same time. What is it? Minute to minute gameplay and the combat is fun. Then I can see myself liking this one a lot more. At the very least, I'll like watch cutscenes if I don't play it. But yeah,
Right.
I hope it's good.
Yeah. I've got a thing to talk about before we wrap
Oh
up.
wait, we're not
So
done.
I guess. Oh, we're not done.
Because
Okay.
continue with that. Kojima also announced that he's making a new action espionage game. Uh,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
codenamed Fizzant. Uh, it will be the third new IP since the establishment of Kojima Productions, and it is a completely new action espionage for the next generation. It will be created using cutting edge technology and the best talents from around the world, both from film and video games. Of course, this is an interactive game, but the look, story,
Right.
theme, casting, acting, fashion, sound, etc., are all the next level of digital entertainment that could be called a movie. This is from Kojima's Twitter. Um,
Ooh.
so he's making this thing we talked about called OD with Xbox. That's going to be on that
Right.
console. That he's working with Jordan Peele with. That we don't really know what that is, but we assume it's probably going to be him taking his ideas from the PT, which was like the playable teaser for the Silent Hill game he was supposed to make before he got let go from Konami. He's
Right.
probably going to be taking those ideas, recycling them and making something new for Xbox. And then he's making this, which, as far as I can tell, would be a PlayStation exclusive, just like Death Stranding. Um, and uh, yeah, I got into Kojima and his games through action espionage. So I'm glad
Right.
he's making a new one, like a spiritual successor to. I hope. Well, I don't think it will. I don't know because I did not like Metal Gear Solid Five. It was compromised to an extent because Konami kept, affecting his vision. But even I think that based on what I know about that game, that even if he were to do his full vision, I probably still wouldn't have liked the final product. I just Metal Gear Solid Five is my least favorite Metal Gear. Didn't like
Mm.
Death Stranding. Hopefully, I like Death Stranding 2. I think Death Stranding 2 will be the deciding factor on whether or not I'm excited for his next stealth action. I think I'll always be excited for it, but I'll always be kind of cautiously optimistic until I actually like see it or play it because
Right.
I think Fizzant is going to be a game that no matter what, I'm just going to have faith. I'm a pre-order. I'm a play. I think that that's just
Real.
what's going to happen because I just love Kojima so much, even if I end up not liking it. But his last few games have made me go, maybe like his games just are like him and the type of games he wants to make now might not be for me. But hopefully Fizzant,
Mm.
hopefully Death Stranding 2 changes that. But at the very least, hopefully his next actually stealth action game will be the one to make me go, okay, he can still make games that I like. Um,
Right.
but yeah, but he also mentions like, this being, he says like in the little like announcement that it's like a game, but it's a movie. And he said the same thing about OD, and I'm like, what do you mean? And people are like speculating like they like when he announced it, there was this drone shot where they zoomed out of the place where they were filming the announcement out to the lot of Sony Pictures like studios, and so presumably there might be there's this game called Quantum Break that's an Xbox exclusive where it was a combination
Right.
of like a live action kind of TV show with the game, and people are saying it might be something like that where he's like, obviously he has his hands on Hollywood. He has so many Hollywood actors in his like games now. Like, what is it? George Miller, the director of the Mad Max series,
Right.
was in that trailer at the beginning. He was like one of the people doing like operating on that person, and of course, Guillermo del Toro was in the first Death Stranding. Um,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
so he's gonna get a lot of big name actors most likely, or actors that he likes specifically, to play these characters, and probably also either make a movie that is a direct like continuation of the story, or like the movie comes out before the game, you gotta watch the movie then play the game, or like some TV show. He's gonna do something weird that combines live action film and video games, and I'm really excited to see what that is. I feel like that could be really cool, the combination of having
Yeah.
movies and TV shows that are canon to this game. That could be a really really cool idea. He also,
Very, very cool.
with Metal Gear Solid 5, one of the things he wanted to do is that he actually wanted to be episodic. So it would be interesting
Mm.
if with his next game, it's like he releases it episodically. He releases a portion of the game. You play that, then you watch a show or a movie. Then he releases another portion of the game. I could see him going real crazy with this and having a lot of fun. And it could be something very interesting and new for video games and film in combination.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for that.
Mm.
But yeah, yeah, I think that's all I got.
Okay. Yeah, this is exciting. This is a quick thing. So the Toho mobile rhythm game, Damaku Kagura, was active for like a year and then shut down, unfortunately, because they couldn't afford to keep the servers up. But last year, in about, I want to say August, September-ish, they announced that they'd be re-releasing it on stream with or Steam with a completely updated version, yada yada yada. It comes out tomorrow. And I forgot that it came out tomorrow. Like I've been following it on and on because I really, really liked Damaku Kagura, like the mobile app version, and I was devastated when it shut down. Glad I didn't spend any money on it, but devastated when it shut down. And so yeah, that comes out tomorrow, and that'll be my new thing, like Persona 3 Reload, whatever. Sure, I'll play it on and off again. This is my Roman Empire. So for all true Toho fans that listen to the podcast, be looking forward to that.
So
No price though. Mm,
I only recently understood that meme because I was watching some podcast where
mm,
somebody said that there are a weird amount of white dudes who like think about the Roman Empire, and I'm like, that's so weird. Specifically,
yeah.
straight white dudes. It's like, who the hell? Why are you thinking about? If you're not a history like professor, why are you rant? Like, I don't even understand. What is there to think about?
Some guys are just like that.
You know what I'm always thinking about? You know what my Roman Empire is?
What's
Metal
your
Gear
Roman
Solid.
Empire? Real?
I'm always thinking about Metal Gear Solid.
That's real.
But yeah, is that all you got?
Yep, that's all I got.
You can find my ads below me. Aiara's at below them. And the Musk at below that. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more storytelling content. And to click the notification bell so that you're notified when we post. Peace.
See ya.